You want to get in the groove? Mask up to get down, and make sure you stay 6 feet from stardom. Today, on A Place of Our Own, making science class way more fun and somewhat more confusing than it ought to be, thanks to a certain Emmy Award-winning bowtie brainiac. It's all coming up next. What's up? I'm Pete Charles Sesko, and welcome to Thrift Store Rundown's Place of Our Own, a place designed for any millennial or baby boomer who wants to bring Hollywood home on a budget. As you know, every interaction you have with your favorite celeb or fellow fandom friend is a very important learning opportunity. So when it comes to educating yourself about the wonderful world of pop culture, we're all in this together. That's right, TSI is your first and coolest teacher. I am a Beakman's World kind of guy, but I do respect Bill Nye. Hello, his Emmy Award-winning children's series, Bill Nye the Science Guy, really proved that science rules for young and young at heart. So much so that he devised his own format into a board game like this. Bill Nye the Science Guy's way cool game of science, purchased for 50% off the price of $3.49 from the same people that manufactured and produced the Home Improvement game, which I reviewed a while back. Northern Games Company and brainiac Innovations. Now, I know a lot of people are being butthurt right now at Bill Nye's sudden change from becoming a way cool science teacher to a, shall we say, a global warming awareness.
Yeah, what she said.
Oh, pardon her. Call it what you will. Does this game rule, or will it rule the day you ever bought into Show and Tell Science Edition? Find out on the Thrift Store Rundown's Place of Our Own. Now I know some of you might never forgive Bill Nye for ruining your childhoods nowadays and being a walking, talking, global warming, climate change awareness freak show. But hey, this video should count as a nice throwback to simpler times, when people depended on Bill Nye or Beakman, one or the other. Bill Nye fans never watched Beakman, and Beakman fans like myself never watched Bill Nye, so you know who I prefer. But hey, this is back to school season, and science usually puts people to sleep. Not with Bill Nye. No, that stigma cannot apply with Bill Nye, because science rules. Now I said it. Anyway, context: 6 fonts, a dry erase marker, your science rules, no really, the science rules, double-sided gameplay sheet for the way cool game of science. A lot of instructions here, and 6 labs to take ownership of. Kooky cool chemistry lab, freaky fun physics lab, exceptionally excellent earth lab, the vastly hugely big space lab, the big bubbling bio lab, and the hip happening human lab. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to challenge other scientists for labs. You earn 1 point for each successful challenge. One of those challenges include answering a few questions on these research cards. They're all science related. There are 600 questions in total. Some of them true or false, some of them straightforward. Moving on. The end of the game occurs when a scientist has at least 1 point in each of the 6 labs. The scientist with the most points wins the game and becomes supreme ruler of the universe. This is the Bill Nye spinner track. As you can see, it's a circular puzzle piece because the way cool game board, divided into 4 pieces, is actually very reminiscent of a big puzzle piece. So you have to connect the spinner board here to the center of the board itself, the square board. And that is easier said than done because, well, let's face it, it's a little bit tricky to assemble this. Actually, not tricky. It's actually kind of easy. And I'm just talking about assembling the board itself. But trying to place the spinner in the center of the board, it does not stay flat. In the care seat, and yes, this does come with a board care seat, it says that some of the pieces here actually bend due to humidity. Both the game board and the spinner. And that's not cool. So, try to connect them here. That doesn't go there. That's wrong. Or, does it? Yeah, it does. It does go there. I was kind of dreading buying this because upon seeing the Science Rules double-sided instruction sheet, there's a lot of variations, a lot of obstacles, you know, a lot of variables here, and it's kind of overstimulating for those who are first-timers, new to Bill Nye the Science Guy. Nobody else on YouTube, however, has a review of this. This is a TSR exclusive. Another tough part is trying to figure out correctly where to put your spinner piece. Where does it connect? And even if you get the game board perfectly aligned, it still will not stay flat in the center. And that's not cool. So, making this very reminiscent of a puzzle piece is actually not going to work out in your favor. And the spinner itself does not spin as freely as I would like it to. You would place your pawns around here, around these spaces. And here on the spinning track, this magnifying glass and empty bowtie space actually serve a purpose. They determine your secret Nye lab code, which you have to write down in one of the designated white spaces on the game board. And they're scattered around. The magnifying glass also determines how many steps you move around the game board in a clockwise position. These spaces right here. In the Earth Lab, Human Lab, Bio Lab, Physics Lab, Space Lab, and Chem Lab. So that magnifying glass serves a dual purpose in lieu of a traditional arrow pointing to a space. So, needless to say, there is no traditional six-sided die here. So here you have the spinning track aligned in the middle, in the center where it should be. But again, it doesn't lay perfectly flat. So, yeah, needless to say, this is not going to get all 5 claps. Not to mention, again, a lot of variables here. From secret doors that might not work to your advantage, all the way to the Nye-a-thon. That's like a lightning fast, sudden death round, answering all questions on your particular picked resets card. It's like a triathlon of science questions and all that good stuff. One that might prove a little too overstimulating for first-timers, so you Bill Nye superfans out there might need to do a little bit of pre-game coaching, a little bit of preliminary trials before you might want to play it. Science Rules! Bill Nye's way cool game of science is the most fun you can have in a lab. The game is fast and the science is hip. Your objective is to get security clearance into Nye labs and become resident scientist in as many labs as possible. You'll be challenged for these labs by other scientists, so you got to know your stuff. As if that isn't enough, you may have to face Bill in the Nye Q test. This game is so intense it makes Bill's head spin. Explore the universe in a vastly, hugely big space lab. Get wise to what makes you tick in the hip-happening human lab. Discover cool facts and information about this rock we live on in the exceptionally excellent Earth lab. We are exceptionally earthly earthlings. Are we? The Big Bubbling Bio Lab tells you all about the critters in the world. The freaky fun physics and cookie cool chemistry labs will amaze you. So put on your lab coat and let's have some fun with science. Contents: the way cool, which may not really be way cool. Dry erase game board, puzzle and pen with wacky Bill Nye spinner, which does not spin as freely as I would like it to. 600 Nye lab questions and 6 playing pieces. From the same people in Canada that made up the home improvement game that I reviewed a while back. This gets 3.5 out of 5 claps. A little too overstimulating. There's so much to do, and a couple of variations which could simplify things, but at the end of the day, now you know why I prefer Beakman over Bill Nye. By the way, Beakman's World, Paul's the Loom, while with less Emmys to its credit than Bill Nye the Science Guy, has a game very similar to this, although it's tremendously overpriced online. So, if your local thrift store is open where you live, put on your mask and go hunt that down if you can find it. Or pick up this, because either way, when you're talking Bill Nye or Beakman, as long as we get pop culture involved in the science, science rules. End of discussion. And by the way, what happened to the old Bill Nye? You know, the old Bill Nye that used to get us kids so psyched about science? He's currently trapped in President Trump's cabinet. Huh? Class is dismissed for the day, but if you missed any classes, get caught up by clicking the link in the description below, which will take you to the Too Cool for School playlist, which also includes videos from last year's series. Thanks for joining us, and make sure to subscribe for when it comes to bringing Hollywood home and to the classroom on a budget. TSR is your first and coolest teacher. We'll see you next time on the flip side on A Place of Our Own.